Hey, this is Corey Knight with Classroom Tech Made Simple, and we're going to talk about slides today. So I'm going to add slides to my Google Apps folder that I've created earlier. And we're going to go ahead and open up slides. And if you don't know what Google Slides is used for, Google Slides is used for making presentations. It's very much like PowerPoint, or if you use Keynote, it's for presenting information to students or to staff or to other people in a very visually rich way, and it helps keep your thoughts on track. So let's go ahead and open up slides. Okay, so it's very important that when you first open up slides, you'll want to use the same login that you used for all the other Google apps. If you and your school have signed up for the G Suite for Education or the Google Apps for Education, so make sure that you use that same account. It's just going to make everything a lot more simple, a lot more clean, and a lot more universal throughout the whole process between Google Slides and all the other Google products. Okay, you will see when you first open up Google Slides that it gives you the option to work offline. This is that you can now create, open, and even edit recent files on devices while offline. All your changes will be uploaded the next time that you're connected to Wi-Fi. So that is a great option for students who don't have access to Wi-Fi at home. They can still edit projects and create projects at home without internet access. Okay, so there are a few things that you need to know about the yellow ribbon that goes across the top of the screen here. Everything is going to be very similar, if not almost exactly the same, with all the other Google apps. So on the upper left hand corner, this is going to be the account that is associated with this app. You can see that I'm using my Classroom Tech Made Simple account. I can look at recent documents, the ones that are shared with me by other students or by other staff. I can go directly to Google Drive. Then I can also go to my settings as well. When you first open this, if you haven't created a presentation with slides, you'll see nothing here, but over time you will see all your presentations below here. And if you need to search through them, you just click the eyeglass and you can search through your presentations based on name. If you go to the folder, it is just the folder that is directly located with Google Drive. So you can just see right there, it pulls up my drive and it's pulling up the folders that I have created with my account. If you click this button, it will change from a list view to a tile view. Just when you have different presentations, it's just a way for you to organize your presentations. If you click the A to Z button, you can just organize them by last modified, the last ones that are opened. So those are the basics of the yellow ribbon across the top of Google Slides. So let's go ahead and get started by creating our first presentation. Now they have recently made some updates to Google Slides that have really made it a lot easier and a lot more quicker to make presentations. So I'm really excited about showing this to you. So let's go ahead and create our first presentation. And remember, utilize this for yourself in class, and you can also assign assignments to students to create their own slides projects by themselves, or they can work collaboratively together with other students on the same project. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but let's see what it looks like when we create our first Google Slides project. So you will click the plus button in the bottom right hand corner. If you want to create a blank presentation, you just click the red New Presentation button. Or you can look at the templates by clicking the blue Templates button. You can see that they have all kinds of different templates, and they are in different categories: education, work, certificates, personal stuff. There are all kinds of different templates. So I'm just going to use one. I'm going to start with a book report here. So this is a template. You can see over here on the left hand side that it has given me 9 slides. If I ever want to add a slide to this, I just hit this plus button at the bottom and it will give me all these different options, just like it would if you've ever used PowerPoint. It gives me all these different templates where if I want to just create something that is simple with a blank slide, if I want to have one column of text on the left side and a picture in the other, if I want to have 2 columns, all kinds of different options that you can use. So this is where you would just edit your project. So if you want to title this Classroom Tech Slides Project, there's one thing that I want to show you at this point. This is a major change in Google Slides. It was a change that has definitely made the app more user-friendly and more easy to use. So you'll notice as I'm editing this, I have my keyboard at the bottom. At the top, there's a ribbon that goes across that has all of your text features and things that you can do to edit the text. I can bold this text just by clicking this button. I have to highlight this first, so I'm going to highlight this. If I want to bold this text, I can. If I want to italicize it, I can do that as well. If I want to change the color, I can do that simply just by clicking that, and I can customize the colors that I would like. I can click based on the theme or just go back to basic colors. I can highlight the text if I'd like, and all your other standard editing tools. Centering your text, moving it up, down to the center of that box. You can number it. You can bullet point it. You can add different fill colors, and you can add different borders. Also different border styles. So traditionally before, you used to have to go through the 3 lines in the upper right hand corner, but this makes it a lot more simple, a lot more easy to use. You can create presentations more quickly utilizing Google Slides since they've made this update. Okay, so let's go over some basics here. So I've created some text. If you ever want to undo what you've just done, you just click this arrow, or if you want to redo, it's something that's very user-friendly and allows you to fix all kinds of problems that you may have created when you're creating your project. Maybe you've edited a bunch of stuff and you realize that it was a big mistake. You can just click that undo or redo button until you get back to where you want and know that it's edited to how you want the presentation to be. Let's talk about the other buttons across the top right-hand corner. The first button is if you want to remotely connect maybe to a Google product, maybe you have a Google Chromecast, or if you have an Apple TV. That's something that can be utilized, but that is mainly for your Google Chromecast devices. I don't know if you have one of those in your school. The reason that it's showing up on mine is because it's trying to connect to my Google TV, because I'm doing this from my home office. Okay, if you hit the play button, this is just ways that you can present to an external device. You can see that it's showing my living room Chromecast, but there's other ways that you can do this when you want to present information to your students. Let's talk about the A with the 4 lines across it. This is the traditional text, paragraph, and shape button. So you can see that they've taken a lot of these buttons and put them across the ribbon that we just talked about. You can change the size of the text color. You can also go to the paragraph, and that's going to be a lot of the same options that are available on the ribbon across the top whenever you're typing or editing any presentation. Same with the shape. So they've pretty much taken this button and put it across the ribbon, across the top of the screen when you're editing your slides project. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Actually, let's go to the 3rd slide. So you can see that it's added some text right there, and that is actually in Latin. It's just something to show you what it would look like. So if you want to edit this, you could just delete it. And I'm just going to add some quick text. Okay, so I have some text here. I'm going to select all. And this is a really cool thing that I like to show teachers. If you have an iPad Air 2 and some of the newer iPad models, you can just click 2 fingers on the keyboard and you hold them down. You notice that it will go blank. And I can now highlight and use this as a trackpad to highlight all that text. It's something that when I learned, I started using and it saved a lot of time. So that's something I like to share out with students and also teachers about how to use their iPad keyboard as a trackpad instead of double tapping and clicking on it and trying to select all the text. So I'm going to bold this because I like to bold the text when I'm creating presentations, and maybe I want to change the color of it. And this is just for tutorial purposes. So you can see now that I have edited that text. Now maybe I want to add a different picture. So I like this picture, but I'm going to add one of my own. Maybe I went to Google using Safari and I found a picture that I wanted to use for this presentation and I saved it to my own camera roll. So I already have some pictures and images that are on my camera roll. I just want to add them to this. So I'm going to delete this. And to add a picture, I'm going to click the plus button. You can see here I can add comments. That would be something that you can use when you're collaborating and sharing these out with other students. I can add text, an image, I can add shapes, tables, lines, all that stuff. So let's go to image, and I have the option from photos or from camera. It's going to ask whether or not you would like to access your photos. I always click OK. Okay, so if I want to add this picture right here, you can see that this is a little too large, so I'm going to drag one of the corners down and make it a little bit smaller so it fits. Okay, and then I can just drag this and move it to where I want it to go. Okay, you can see now that I have this item selected, and there's some options along the top to make this and edit this image. So if you click this, I can create a border around this image. So right now it's no color. I'm going to create a yellow border to match my text. And then I can change the size of that border. I can change the dash of that border. I just want it to be a solid line. Then when I click off of this, you can see that I have created a border, and it just makes that image stand out. It's a really cool option when you're editing and adding pictures to different slides projects. Okay, let's go back to that. Maybe I want to crop this image. So I click this crop button right here, and I want to shrink it down. Maybe I don't want that helicopter in there. So I crop out that helicopter that's on the side here. And you can see that it has automatically edited out that piece of the image that I do not want. Another option is if you click the picture frame. It's just something that you can replace the photos from. It's just another update that they have made with Google Slides, and it's a great option and feature for students and teachers to use. So that is how you add images, and that's how you can edit images to your Slides projects. One more thing about editing images is if I click on this and I double click that, you see this button right next to the cropping feature. I'm going to click that. I use this all the time. I like to round the edges of my pictures. I think it just makes them look clean. So if I click this rounded edge, you can see how it has rounded my picture. And wow, that really looks professional. It really makes it look as if that is an image that I have put forth the extra effort to make it look really nice when I'm presenting information to my students or to someone else. So that is just another feature and option that you can utilize with Google Slides. Okay, so that is the basics of utilizing Google Slides. Let's go over some features here, and I'm going to show you how this saves everything in Google Drive. So before we do that, let's take a look at these three lines in the upper right hand corner. You can see that I have all these different options with this presentation. You can see that I have checked off that it is available offline. I can add speaker notes. I can change the theme. So if I want to change the theme altogether, I can just come here and it will give me all these different theme options that Google has created. Students always like the pop one in the bottom. They seem to use that whenever you give them a presentation. But anyway, regardless, they can change the theme, or you can change the theme just based on a click of a button. So I'll show you. So it's already changed that theme. That is something that you can do quick and easy. So that's the three lines there. Remember, if you ever want to add any text, images, shapes, lines, or even tables, you can do that from there. I also like to show people how to add hyperlinks. So I'm going to take a piece of text and say I just want to highlight this piece of text. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click the plus button. And you can see how link is now available. So if I click link, I can now create a link or a hyperlink to an external resource on the internet. And I would just type in the link. Maybe I want to type in my Classroom Tech Made Simple website, and it would directly link it straight to there. Okay, so that is something that I like to tell students, is that adding hyperlinks to external resources makes your presentations more interactive, and it keeps the audience attention. Okay, so when you're done editing and you're ready to go, just click the check mark, and then you can go back, and you can see that it has saved this already. It tells me when it was opened, and I got all this information right here about this. If I want to send a copy, if I want to get the link to share this with someone, or if I want to add collaborators, I would just write in their email. I would click the edit button, and I would choose whether they can edit, comment, or just view. Now, if they can edit, they can completely edit this presentation. If they can comment, they can just provide feedback. So if you want your students to have a peer review session, that's a great option. And if you just want them to view it, then they would click view. So that is a great way to have students collaborate with each other. And remember, they would just click the three dots and they would add people. Alright, so that is Google Slides in a nutshell. It is a great presentation software that is absolutely free. I hope that you've learned something from this tutorial. And if you have any questions, always feel free to contact me at Corey@classroomtechmadesimple.com. We'll see you next video.